Why do why do you think that so many men keep on ending up in the same toxic relationships over and over again?
But one of the
Mhm,
things that unfortunately is I think men are raised in a society where emotions are put last.
mhm.
So, as a matter of fact, what do we hear a lot of times when a young man starts to cry? Be strong.
Be strong, yeah.
And that means don't cry, which, by the way, side note, I tell my son that too. I tell my son that too, but it means the complete opposite. If my son is ever going through something emotional, I'll look at him, his name's Luke, and I'll say, Luke, be strong, be strong. And you know what that means? If you got to cry, honor those damn tears and bawl. If
Mhm,
you need to get in your bed in a fetal position and scream or punch the pillow, that's what I mean by be strong. See,
mhm.
being weak is dishonoring your emotions. And when we tell boys be strong, really what we're saying invertly is don't honor yourself. And then we grow up dishonoring ourselves and this is where we find ourselves in relationships where now we're anxiously attached. Now we don't voice what we need. And when we don't voice what we need, that respect, that disrespect starts to turn around invertly. And this is where now long term disrespect that we have inside turns to depression. So we do our boys a
Mhm.
disservice when we'd say, be strong, don't cry, all this other nonsense, whatever. Although there are a lot of resources for men, especially nowadays, and it's about a hair fraction of what the resources are for women. So, just in the past couple of years, has there been now homes where men can go to if they've been physically abused by their wives? But
Mhm.
historically speaking, in the past 40 years, we've had safe havens for women popping up left and right. But there's a lot of men that get physically abused in their relationship. Now, here in where I'm from, is called the Vera House, and they have housing for men that are in violent partnerships. Because here's the deal, too, and it's not a matter of men are weak and all this other. I mean, maybe physically there are cases where men are physically weaker than their wives or spouses or what have you. However, we also were raised in a society where no matter what, you never raise your hand to a woman.
Yeah,
So now we have this woman who has no problem knocking her husband around, but he is
yeah.
not going to raise his hand to her. So he needs to go to a place where he can be safe,
Feel
feel
safe, yeah.
safe, get some therapy on why is he allowing this? Because I always say we teach people how to treat us. The reason why we get into a lot of these relationships is because we don't know who we are. We don't know our values. We don't know our boundaries. And more so than that, we don't enforce them.